Okay, so last week we touched on, let me just share screen. Yeah, that's my new waiting screen. I use Flowscape to create this. So Flowscape is actually available in Steam. It's really, really cool. You can create all kinds of environments. So here, we passed this. We had passed day 2. Last week, we had a really interesting presentation from all groups. And I was just like totally mind blown, you know, how you guys are really, really good at gamifying your class. And gamification is a huge area, and there's so many different elements to cover on that. For me, I'm very much into how the students will be able to visualize it, and that's the tricky bit. When students are visualizing it, you need to structure, have a structured part of gamification, which means you have a leaderboard which is self-updating, and you have, of course, a score sheet that goes together with the leaderboard. So today I'm going to show you how I use the Google Sheet, and I've also uploaded some couple of templates for you to use and to give it a try. And so you can actually get started on how to actually create a badge. Well, basically step 1, you create a badge, all right? And then how you put that badge into the leaderboard, and how you make your leaderboard self-update. So I've put some resources for you here in the front page of the website. There's some resources here. So if you click on the resources, you should be able to see these. So you have a leaderboard template. Now, this is how the leaderboard template will look like. So I know, don't get intimidated by everything. You can modify it. Yeah, these are all modifiable. You can mod it. So I can show you how to do it. Yeah. So all these are already linked to the sheet. So basically you have to have 2 files, right? They go hand in hand. So first is the score sheet. All right. So there's the score sheet here, and then you have the leaderboard. So the score sheet has individual rubrics which you can actually customize, but that's the tricky bit, which I will explain to you shortly. Okay, how? Because you might need to download the sheet first, customize these, then put it back into your Google Drive. So basically the tools that I usually use is Google Drive and Google Apps like Google Sheets. Then I also use Google Sites, because you want to publish the leaderboard on a site where your students can access at all times. So you can just tell them, okay, go to this website. So they go to the website, they can see, oh my gosh, I got badges. So like currently you have your leaderboard, which already have badges here. So you've got here, and you've got XPs, right? So the XPs, well, it will be reflected here very soon. So then this is basically how you'll be able to see it. And then you have also your score sheets. So your score sheets, you'll have your rubric. So rubric number 1, you can see your marks, okay, and so on and so forth. So that's how it works. So how to link this to your leaderboard is something that I will show you, but start off simple. I'll show you from scratch. Then get it. But first thing is first, you will want to have some material, some elements here to include in your leaderboard, like badges. Now, in order to create badges, you have to have first some kind of table, like a simple one. Maybe you can create a simple one first, and you have the XP scores or some kind of numeric measurement in order to associate with the badges. Here I got 2 levels of badges, but you don't have to have 2 levels, just 1 will do. And in terms of how you want to create the badges, I've also included the resources such as custom badges. Now, the one that you can actually use when you go to custom badges, you go straight to game achievements.
Dr. Charles?
Yes.
Sorry, there's someone in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you for telling me.
Come.
Right. So you have there's a folder called PNG. Yeah, I'll show you how to use it. It's very, very simple. So these PNGs, you have images which you can use. Then, yeah, they have images, and some of these images basically, hang on, why the thumbnails are not showing? Hang on, no preview. All right, hang on. But you have these images as well. These are like background of the badges. So I will wait. Let me. Oops. Well, you have other forms of icons which you can use, but I will show you anyway. I will show you. Not sure why the thumbnails are not showing. Strange. Okay. Looks like I have to copy it back in again, but let me show you first. So the preview files, the are two types of files. One is the background colors here, and you have all these different shapes. So you can actually overlap them, or you can modify them. You can add text beside it and all that. But don't worry, the simplest way to custom your badge, you can use even Microsoft Word to do it. Yeah, I can show you how to do it. So let's see, let's go straight to, and then you publish it. Now, how do I publish it? Like, for example, once I publish it, when you publish it, you'll be able to go to the website, click on it, and you can go straight to this page. So you can always see it at any point of time. So that is actually very convenient for your students to be able to view their standings. It's quite a competitive thing. Yeah. So they are able to see quantify their sense of achievements, which is one of the major things in the gamification process. So let's get started. Oh yes, before I forget. Now, I also included here a very useful resource by Mariana Garcia. She has this, she's a Google certified educator. She knows A to Z on Google stuff. And she has done, basically I've learned quite a lot of things from her site, her website. And she's done quite a bit of publishing on this. So it's called Teaching Above the Test. So you click on this, you'll go to a website where you can read everything on how the Google app can actually help you on gamification. So it also includes formulas, like scripts or whichever that you need in order to enhance your leaderboard, to make it a little bit more interactive and so on. So some of these are quite complex. So I don't use everything here. You can just see something that something that's very relevant, and you can actually extract what you think would be very useful for you to create that. Now, the leaderboards that I'm showing you is what can represent on a formal way to gamify your class, especially when you have score sheets that have several categories or several things to score, or it could be a lot more simpler. It doesn't matter. But for example, if your pedagogy is gamified, but how do you quantify it? And we spoke about that briefly last week. There were questions about that, like how do you do that? How do you make sense of it? How do you make sense of it in terms of quantifying it, or in terms of measuring it, and so on, associating scores or weightage, or scores can lead to weightage, or however you want it to be. Yeah. So there's no fixed way or best way of doing it. It's really how you can best customize your teaching and learning session or your gamified pedagogy into something that can be viewed, visually seen, visually measured. So starting with Microsoft Word, I can use Microsoft Word for this. The most important thing when you create a badge, when you want to create a badge, before I move forward, you guys, so far, are you clear? Any questions? Just stop me anytime. So let's say if I wanted to say I can use Word. This is the most basic. Let's say if you don't have any graphic manipulation applications, or if you don't use Photoshop, or you're wondering, how am I going to do this? How am I, whatever. So based on the template that's given, so first thing is first, insert an image. Okay. So let me share my Microsoft Word screen first. Stop sharing this. So this is my Word screen. So let's say if I wanted to create a badge, okay, you can customize it. So I go straight to, let me search my file. So basically these thumbnails were supposed to show up just now. So I'll copy it again. Sorry about that. So, but this one seemed to show up. So let's just say I'm going to open a red background. Okay. So this is a hexagonal shape. So I'm just going to insert this. Now, if you notice that PNG, usually the transparent one, you got to make sure that the background is transparent. And the templates that I'm providing for you, they have all transparent backgrounds and they are PNG format. So that's very important. You meant that it's a PNG format and it's transparent. And if you think you want to choose or obtain different badges from online, you can. You can use Canva for that as well. I can show you how to search for it. But basically, it's very simple. If you go to Google image search, you just have to type in game icon transparent. You will see different types of options there for you to download. And how do you know they're transparent? Because if you put this over a background, for example, let's say if I insert another background, I can even search online. Yeah. Let's say if I were to search online, then let's say if I to pick backgrounds, let's say if I pick something dark, so you can see this very clearly. Let's say this one, insert. Because if you do it via the application, it will show you the Creative Commons files, which you can actually use. That is free to use, basically. Yeah, there you go. Now it seems like it's covering the previous one, right? So to solve that, when you click on the image, you see this here. Just select in front of text. Then you can move it about. But sometimes the other one disappears for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it replaced it. So but when you put it in front of text, it becomes a separate object. So let's insert the that one again. Let's say something bright, which has a contrast. Okay. Now let's send this background image to the back. Make that into a separate object. Wrap text in front of text. Okay. So you just have to make sure that when you click on the image, because what it does is when you import the image at first in Microsoft Word, it will be locked in place. So it's not a separate object, it's embedded. So in order to make it a separate object, you guys make sure you do this. So you can layer it. Yeah. So you make it a bit smaller. So it goes in front of this. Yeah. So the reason why I put this background image is just to show you that this is transparent. You can see it's transparent. So you can do this. Yeah. So another thing that then you insert something else to overlap it. You can choose any shape from here. Let's just say, let's be a little adventurous. Let's choose something like, let's say a knight, or let's say a lightning. Okay, lightning, yeah. So that's pretty big. So first thing you do is put it in front of text. So it becomes, come to the front. Then you can move it about. So you can see it's transparent and it's overlapping. Okay, so then you can reduce its size however small you want it. So you can put it right in front of the badge. So this is the thing about customization. But let's say you want to copy this exact same thing. Say I want to mirror this and I want this to be beside this. So let's just try to do that. Now let's press Control. You can see the cursor changes to this, but press Control and hold. Don't let go. Click on this and drag. So you duplicate it. Yeah. So when you duplicate it, then right click on this image and see if you're able to mirror it. But if you can't mirror it, it's fine. Okay. There's always limitations. It's a word processor anyway. But you can spin it if you like, however you want it. Maybe you want it to, oh, that looks pretty much controversial. This one also looks controversial, but maybe just pretend that this one, let's change. Okay, you know why I say controversial, right? It looks like an SS symbol. I didn't realize that. So, or maybe you can make it a little bigger. Yeah, let's pretend that this is the badge you want to put in. Or maybe, yeah, just, maybe it goes out a little bit. Or maybe it goes out like this. Maybe you spin it. Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's what I want to do. I want to customize it the way I want it. I put it this way. Yeah, that looks much better. That looks interesting. So I could play around with it like a jigsaw puzzle. So once you have that, then you're happy with this, that looks good, then you can leave it as it is. Now, another tricky bit is this. Now replace, make sure you delete this, because now that you can see your shape here, shape of your badge, delete your background. Then you can select this, press Shift and select the others. Select this, press Shift and select all three objects. Okay. So once all three objects are selected, right click on it and group it. Okay. Some of you, most of you probably know how to do this. I'm just saying that if it's too troublesome to use a graphic application, this is the fastest way. Then right click on this and save as picture. So once you save as picture, let's save lightning bolt. Let's say 01. Okay. So lightning bolt 01, or maybe you want to make this the highest rank. So you just name it as rank 1. And then I'm just going to save it on the desktop. So, okay, so I've saved it on desktop. Now that I've saved it on desktop, let's just minimize this file. Now let's just go back to the Google Sheets. Now let's say I'm going to open, sorry, this one is, okay. Okay, I'm going to open the template. Yeah. So I'm going to open the template. Let's just say I'm just going to scroll down, just find an empty space for just to show you how it works. So here, there's a cell here, right? There's a cell right here. Now, how do I insert that
Dr.
image?
Charles, you didn't share your screen.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. Sometimes I forget to stop sharing the other one. Okay. Now I go back to Google Sheets here. And then on this cell here, all right, you click on this cell. And here you go to insert. So insert image in cell. Okay, there's two ways. If you drag the image on here, okay, on the sheets, the image will be movable, yes, but it's not fixed in the cell. So what you need to do is insert image in cell. All right, so once you click on that, it'll ask you to choose the image, then press browse. And then I'm just going to go to desktop where I have the lightning bolt. I select that. See, it's a PNG file right here. Then open. Okay. Now you're wondering how come it's tiny? Because the cell is tiny. Because if the image is in cell, what it does is it adjusts the size of the image according to the size of the cell. So the trick here is increase the cell. Now you can see it's a transparent image. Now the bigger you increase, right? Now if you pull it long, then you can see the size is constrained to the width. Yeah, but length is fine. But let's just say if you pull this cell, you increase the width, then you can see it's increasing in size. Then it follows the ratio of the cell. Yeah. So the bigger you drag, the bigger the badge. Now you can see the badge is nicely firm. You can, for example, if you refresh this, then you can still see your badge is not disturbed. Yeah, it loads properly and everything. So that's one of the tricks that you can use, and that's what you can start doing. Yeah, you can start doing by creating your own badges. Now back to Word. Let me stop sharing this. This also means, right, that you can actually do other things too. Okay, for example, let's say you can insert shapes, for example. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I'm not sure if this works, but let's give it a try. Okay, now let's choose a color, shape fill. Let's go for gradient. Let's go for more gradients.
Dr. Charles, I think you're not sharing.
Am I not? Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry. Let's do that again. All right, now insert shapes. Not sure this. Let's just give this a shot. I'm going to make a circle here. So let's create a, let's shade this inside. Let's do a gradient from the center. Let's go to more gradients. So under more gradient, let's go to gradient fill. Now under gradient fill, you can actually change color and things like that. So I'm just going to maybe choose. No. Yeah, you can just control the gradient or something like that, you know, just mess around with it. Keep messing about with it. Let's just say, remove one element here. Yeah, make it a bit more even. Okay, let's just say you're happy with this one. Now let's get rid of that line. Under line, say no line. So it appears like this, or you can still put a solid line, but change it to, let's say you want to change it to a black outline, then increase the weightage. Yeah, maybe you're happy with this. So maybe you still want to drop shadow on this one. So under shadow, you can select drop shadow. Then you see there's a minor drop shadow there. So kind of like, so you can see, you can move it and it's also transparent. You can see, you can overlap that image, that badge. So right click on this badge, bring it to the front, bring it over here. So you can kind of like make more customizations on this. Now, let's say you want to put text, you can put text, but best that the text appear in the shape itself, or you can actually have a little square here, or you could insert other shapes, like let's go for something that will look good for a text. Maybe something like a ribbon. Yeah. Yeah, so you can create a ribbon, something like this. Looks overdone already, actually. But I'm just trying it out as well. So, okay, then let's just, for the background color, under fill, maybe you have no fill, or maybe you want slightly creamy color. So you could have solid fill, then have something really light. Okay. And maybe let's just say, right click on it, add text. Say superstar or something. Or maybe, yeah. Yeah. So you can't see the text. So after you typed it, select all by Control A, go to home, then select automatic. No. Why is it not changing color? Text options. Solid line. There you go. But so strange that the text appear this way. So which means you make sure that text outline, no line, or solid line, or text outline, or that's text outline. Okay. Maybe text fill. This solid line, this. Maybe you just have to increase the size. Yeah, maybe you could just increase the size of superstar. There you go. Okay, just pretend that this is a badge that you created, or something like a medal or something. So same process. Make it a little smaller. One, two, three. So I selected all three, right click, group it, group. So you can group it so it becomes one entity. Then right click it again, save as picture. Let's say medal rank 1. Okay, so save it. Now let's see what happens. Let's see, does this work? So I'm just going to minimize it, stop share, then go back to Google Sheets. So let's see, let me remove this. Just by pressing delete, insert, image in cell, browse. Where's medal rank? Open. There you go. So you have the medal rank. Okay. So you can do something very simple. yeah, but the templates that I give you, or you can modify it, you can add elements to it and group them up, save them as picture, and it becomes a transparent icon. Yeah, so that's basically what I did here, and some of the badges here. But to be frank, sometimes you don't have a lot of time to customize it. You can always reuse it and reuse it in different ways. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why you have something like badge and rank definitions, because a star can, you can create themes, okay? Create themes. You can use whatever themes that you like, you know, like in this case, all the elements that I put in front here, they are just coming out of the borders. You can either have it in the border or out the border, then you can call it anything you want to call it, yeah, according to your own respective themes. So after you created the badge, then you add your badges in here into rank definition. Now, one of the reasons why you do this as well is because you would want to use the link from these images to add to the leaderboard here. Now on the leaderboard, now for each of these, okay, if you click, now if you notice when I'm clicking on this badges, you notice the address bar, you can see this formula. Now you can copy exactly this formula and paste it. But what this formula does is this, you know, these rank badge definitions, like for example, the star, you need what 9,001 to 10,000. It's like the top marks or the top range of scores for your XP. And what does that represent? So the question is, if K2, for example, K2, this is K2. If K2 falls between 9,001 to, I cheated here, 9,001 and 10,000. I put 10,000 at the top here, that's why, or 9,800, then image brackets this. Now, where do you get this link? Yeah. Now to get that link, you need to put image links for Google to refer to the reference. Yeah. So how do you get that link? Let's say after you've done this badge and rank definition, that means all the badges that you need is here. Yeah. So first thing you need to do is file, publish to web. Yeah. So that's the thing about adding links in leaderboard. Okay, adding certain adding links in leaderboard in reference to your badges and images. Especially if you want to put it into a formula, you need to have the image link. Yeah, so but if you want to add the image into the cell, it's very straightforward. But for the formula, it's an image link. Now, this is also available for you to copy in the template. For example, when you go to your leaderboard template, you have a leaderboard template, which you have generic names here, and you have these here as well. So you can customize this any way you like. Depends, play around with it. And the best way to learn is by making a lot of mistakes. I think we all know that. Yeah. So just play around with this and try it out. Try to come up with at least two lines, maybe, you know, as a start, or just try one line and try to put in image here. Now, back to how you get the image link. Now let's try publishing to web. Okay. File, publish to web. Now, when you publish this to web, excuse me, if you can hear my dog, excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. Link, badge, rank definition. Okay. You're clear about this, yeah? Then just press publish. Publish the selection. Okay, now it says control. Basically, after you've published it, it gives you a URL. Okay, a URL. So just copy this URL, right? Copy this URL. Now, go go to your sidebar here on your present browser, open new incognito window. Can you all still see this page? Then paste this URL here, press enter, and you can see the publish to web version of it. That means it's published, it's live online. Yeah. So you can see this. So now when you select an image here, you can say save image as. So it becomes like a website. So you can save image and so on. But the trick is this, copy image address. Okay, so if you press copy image address, then if you go back to your non-incognito window, you could, for example, you can say if I paste the address here, that is the image address, but it looks very long, right? It looks very long. Now, if you notice that when I go to leaderboard, you notice that this image address is a bit.ly address. I've shortened the image. Now, previously, Google used to have a URL shortener. Okay, but then after that, for some reason, they stopped having it. So you can shorten this URL to make it a lot easier for you. And the way to do it is by going to bit.ly. Simple, just you can go to Google, type bit.ly. So bit.ly URL shortener. Okay, just go here. It's very, very easy. Once you get here, you just can shorten your link here, or you can just join, sign up for free. But see if I can log in. I just replaced my CPU. So, okay, I've just paste the URL here again. It's a very long URL. Shorten it. And it shortens it for you right here. Okay, it's very simple, very easy. Yeah, so just copy this, and then you can go back to your leaderboard. And let's say, well, you won't be able to see it though, but then you paste it exactly here between the inverted commas. Yeah. Now I have to be very honest to you. Customizing each badge link here is tedious. And let me tell you this, it's going to be very tedious for the first time, only for the first time. You're probably going to spend a couple of hours doing this. Yeah. I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, but it's very rewarding once everything works. And then the reusability is really, really good. You can reuse it. Okay, so you don't have to custom the badge anymore. You already have your existing badge. Say you made 10 badges. You can use all 10 badges anytime you want. You can use it. It's just but if you want to still do new custom versions of it, you probably need to spend some time customizing it again. So this is one way to do it. Now, how do you do something like this and make it happen, make it work? How do you see it self-updating? So now if you notice this leaderboard sheet, you have a range of pages here. Now, we don't have to cover everything today. All you need to know today is you create your badges. Okay, you can create a table. You have already a template here. You can just reuse this. Yeah. But it's just a matter of you customizing your badge, and maybe you want to customize your rank. Yeah. But the other mechanism here we will cover definitely later, but maybe not today, but just to show you, each of these have specific calculations, which is based on your score sheets. Okay. Now, first, let's go little by little. The most important thing you want to know for now is this score sheet, how this score sheet is linked to this. Now, this score sheet is the mirror of this score sheet. Okay, this score sheet is basically the main one. Yeah. And once you have customized everything, all you need to do is input your scores here only. You don't touch anything else, not even the leaderboard. The leaderboard will self-update. Okay, this one you can actually hide the sheet so that you don't have to actually see it, but you only unhide it if you want to check whether the link is correct. So the reason why I put a copy of the original score sheet here is because for leaderboard to refer the data, leaderboard can refer to the data on this score sheet rather than another file. Yeah. So if it's referring to everything within it, it's easy to do. Yeah. Now let's start very simple. Let's get started with something very simple. Now what you can get started doing is first, obviously you've seen how to do the badge, but how do you create your first leaderboard? First, you create your first score sheet. Yeah. Now creating your first score sheet, I think all of you are very familiar with sheets and Excel sheets, but I'm going to show you anyway, because you want to link it to this. Now, let's say let's go back to this. Let's go to new Google Sheets, blank spreadsheet. So on a blank spreadsheet, let's just say you want to have, we probably won't do a rubric yet, but I can show you the rubric. Actually, I actually did it in Excel and I brought it in here because you're doing it for multiple students. But here, I'm not going to show you the rubric just yet, but maybe I can show you something simple after this. Yeah. Maybe I'll do one rubric here, a simple one. Let's say, John, student's name is John. Okay, so this one is name of student and maybe this score. Okay, so here John scored, let's say he's over 10. Okay, so John scored, let's say, reading score. Okay, reading score. And let's do 3 types of scores. Another one is oral speaking, and that's also 10. And this one, maybe drawing or maybe writing. So writing 10. Okay. Three different types of scores. Okay, let's make this even. So you got 3 different types of scores. So one, he scored 5. So let's name this sheet John. This is John's sheet. Double click on the tab and you can do it. John, say 5. Reading, no, maybe he's very good at reading. Speaking is good. I'm very generous in marks, but writing is a bit of a problem. So, but he's made a good effort. Let's give him 6. So now he's done this. Now let's name this leaderboard. Okay. Now bear in mind, it's not, the template is nothing like what I have here, but this one, the leaderboard, is directly referring to this. Okay. I don't have a main score sheet. Let's just pretend that this is the main score sheet for John, and there's only one student. So okay, so now here the leaderboard would be name and badge. right? So name and badge. Okay, so John. Now you can actually from what, okay, you can actually put the name John here. Oh yeah, I forgot something. Total. So say it's 30 over 30. So here, let's have a total. I don't know why it appears there. Sum D6 to F. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I have here center. Okay, so you got ourselves a total as well. So now that you have a total of 21 over 30. Yeah. So leaderboard, badge. All right. Now let's say that there's 3. Okay, there's 3 here. So let's go back to the template. Let's copy the template. Okay, go back to the template. Go back to leaderboard. Let's get here. Let's there are 3 levels, right? So there are 3 different levels. Let's just copy this first. Okay. Now, if M2 equals, let's say 30, image is that. Now, if, hang on, not M2, yeah, we will deal with that after this. Now, just the scale, let's just pretend that if this one range is, say, 29 to 20. And this one, the range is, let's say, 18 to 10. Okay, so that's the range over there. But image is not showing just yet. Yeah, because it needs a reference. Because M2, we are obviously looking at M2 over here, but let's just say the total appears in E. All right. So the total, so let's just put the reference. The total equals, just select the tab over here. Okay, let's say total is 21. Okay, so here maybe total. So let's give John a badge. Okay. So for here, you need a reference. So here maybe is E, the reference is the cell over here. There's a reference, like a coordinate, E6. So which means you need, if E6 equals 30, you just have to make sure you replace all the M2 with E6. Like I said, this is a one-time thing. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So John has a badge. Okay, so just give John a large badge. Right. Now, what happens if you change the scores over here? Yeah. John's tiny little leaderboard. Now, what happens if you change the scores over here? Let's say John's oral speaking. Let's not talk about John. Let's put Rachel. Say you're marking Rachel. Okay, so Rachel's reading score. Rachel's a little, she's got a good effort and all that. So let's say 7, right? But she's all right. Okay, but she's putting a lot of effort. Oral speaking, she speaks tremendously well. I want to give her 9 for this one. When it comes to writing, I think it's pretty bad, and I think you want her to do a little extra work, so you're going to go below 5 there. So now let's add this up by dragging this down. Okay, so 20. Now here, okay, so now you got Rachel. Now let's give Rachel, what was Rachel's badge? It may not look like much anyway, but let's say, Rachel's supposed to be here, but just for example's sake, just put here scores. Who? Let's say Barry. But Barry, unfortunately, didn't do a lot of reading homework. So he doesn't show up for class a lot. So he needs to know his level. So he didn't show up for oral speaking test, and he submitted his work, but he only wrote 2 lines. That's pretty bad. So let's say, let's drag this down. Total is 5. Yeah. Now that's a stark contrast from the other 2. Now, what would Barry's badge look like? So very simple. John is here, right? Now you could have John's name directly linked to this. Yeah. But obviously you can drag the other 2 down here. You can see that it automatically, for example, if you select this, it automatically linked the score to the sheet called score here. Yeah. So you don't have to touch the leaderboard at all. And in terms of badge, you can drag it down, right? But Barry doesn't, because there's no badge associated with this, well, I just put 3 different examples. But okay, let's say this is John. Let's do the same here. Rachel and Barry. But here, yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that. So we might need to add another badge over here. But let's just give him an extra score then. Let's see what happens. Okay, he's got a 10. So let's even out this. So that's very simple to do. Just select all this, select your rows at the side here. Oops. Why does it do this? Yeah, select the rows by the side, by the tables, by the frame. Then you can adjust the width and size. So if you're happy with that, that should be good. Yeah. So that is one simple version, a very simple version of creating a leaderboard. So I'll pause here. Anyone can follow, or anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions about how to create one?
Charles, can I
Yeah.
just see the formula again for the, so for for John, right, I actually type, in order to connect to the second tab, which is the score tab, I just have to type equals to score exclamation mark C and whatever location
Yeah.
that my John is
Yeah.
at, right?
Yeah,
And how about the total then?
the total. Yeah, basically what this is, you're not calculating
It's all-
anything here.
Okay.
This one also, okay, very easy. you just select the cell. Okay, you press equals, or you don't even need to press equal. Yeah, you press equals. You press equals. Important thing is you press equals first, and then go to the score tab, and just select. You can see it's waiting for your command. Just select, and then it automatically appears.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. And then you just press enter. It goes back to that sheet, and you can see that now if you have more than one student, yeah, you can just keep adding students here. Or, for example, the score sheet is the main sheet, is the input sheet. I call it the main input sheet, where all the data here, the leaderboard will refer the data to the main input sheet. So the input sheet contains the main data. So which means here you can add names, as many students as you want, or you have a fixed number of students. Let's say if there are 20 students here, then all you need the leaderboard to do is refer to that data by just using equal sign. Okay. Now another if you have a very large class, like how I usually do, I rely on formulas. And the formulas that I usually use, we won't get too much into that because it is, but we can do a case, a version of this. If you have many students, like in this case, you can see that if you click on the top bar here, you will see these formulas, and that's the reason why these templates are for you, because you can check, you can see for yourself how this works. Now, how this works is this. When array constraint formula, what it does is it copies the array of data in one whole section, one whole column. So here, array constraint is assessment input C9 to C84. C84 is, C9 is starting from the row C9 to C84 right down, because I used to have like 84 students. So I just have to put that command here, and it needed to refer to a particular sheet, a tab called assessment input. So it will check along here, do I have a tab called assessment input? Yes, I do. Now in this assessment input, I have student 1, 2, 3. That's how I named it until student 25. And the leaderboard actually refers to it and added the names, added the names over here automatically. So I don't have to touch anything here, nothing. All I need, and I don't even, this is just a copy. All I need to do is, for example, oh yeah, this is just a copy, but this data is not being referred to by my, the only thing that I might probably need to add manually is these names and the ID. But this one, assuming that I have that these names are correct. So when I actually put a copy of it in my leaderboard, these are also the correct names, because after I've done this, once this is set, then I put a copy of that in the leaderboard for easy reference within the file itself. That's the difference. Now for this one, so let's just say, now let me just show you what if I put what if these scores have different names, okay? And let's pretend that they have different names. And now I'm just say, for example, how the array constraint formula works. It's like, let's say if I put John here and ID here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go back to leaderboard, you can see John appearing here, because when you click on the formula at the top bar here, it has to be basically placed on one row before this. Then you can see that it actually referred to the information over here. And this information is actually exact mirror of this, assuming that the original one also have John and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So now let's say there's one more thing though. If you want this, for example, this sheet to have formulas, then you can still do it. But some things you don't need to put formulas. It's just a matter of copy pasting the same exact same thing. The one that probably needs formulas is especially when the figures are updating constantly. For example, assessment. Like, for example, this one. Now, let's just say John, let's say I'm giving marks for John. Let's say I'm going to give marks for John here. Let's say give him a 7 here. Let's say I mark in terms of his body text and content. He's got, I know, yeah, you can always customize everything here. And this one, let's say he didn't do really well here. This one, project, yeah, so, okay. And let's say under excellent amount, he did journal quite a bit. So I'm just going to give him here. And let's say here, okay. So now this is all his total marks for each of these. And then when I go back to assessment input, you can see his marks appearing right here. Now, this one is very simple. This one refers to data from each tab, and each tab is John's and each student's sheet where you can put comments and things like that. This is if you want to have separate sheets for separate students, especially applicable if you have a very large class and you want something a little bit more detailed, but you don't have to have it like this. You can do it really simple, like what I just showed you. Now, I'm just showing you, this is how it works. Now, is this being read by the leaderboard? Let's check. So going back to the leaderboard template, is this being read by leaderboard? Yes. Now, why? Because when you click on this, there is another command called import range. So you can import the range from the assessment input, the main sheet. Now, how do I know that it's taking the data from that original sheet? Is because of this thing here, right here. Okay. Now, let's say, okay, let's just use a new cell here. Now you want to import some information, all right, from the other sheet. So if you're not too sure what to do, you just have to go here, copy this command, copy the whole command, okay? And let's say paste it here. Now, let's say this is not the right cell or whatever, or how do you know it's the right sheet? So just make sure you highlight this, go back to the original score sheet, where the main input sheet, where you input the marks, okay? And then you go to the top address bar here. You notice this? This is the one that you need to make sure that it's the correct sheet up here. You have to copy this and then go back to this and then paste it over here, which is actually the same information. Yeah. So once that is pasted, yeah, then another thing to check is it taking from the actual column? So here, to ensure that it's taking from the actual column, you have to look at whether it's K or L, right, or I. Let's say if it's supposed to take information from the I column in the original sheet, is referring to this or the separate file here, and let's say I, and changes to I, then it will take from the I column, so like this. Yeah. So these templates are there for you. The templates are there for you to examine. Okay, examine and intentionally put names there and try to create something simple, yeah, and so on. Now, other explanation in terms of some of these things, like what's happening here, okay? What's happening here? Now here, it's the same as here, basically. This is the one. Now here, N27, 28, basically I'm using a command called indirect. Now, indirect for the rest of this, what it does is when I put indirect command, it actually, what it does is it actually tells the application to check each of these tabs, right? Now, it's when you put the exclamation mark here, that means it's referring to tabs, right? And tabs in sequence, B10, G9, okay? So which means take the numerical number from this particular cell, N27, and put it here, yeah? Because B10, G9 is referring to this cell here, okay? This one. So he's telling, refer based on the cell here, look for N27 cell, put the number over here. That's basically what he's trying to do. So how do you check? Is it true? Now go to the first cell and you can see N27 here for assignment 1. So that's what happens over here. Yeah. So these references are very important. Yeah. So this refers to that. So the first time setup, you just have to get this correct. And how do you know? You don't have to like do it every cell. Once you have the indirect function here, you can either drag it down and then it automatically does it for you. Yeah. Then there's nothing to worry about. Yeah. So that's it. So all you need to do is have the references right. Now examine this and examine this closely and see what you can do with it. All right. But you don't have to go that complex yet, but give it a try, experiment, and see what you can come up with. See what kind of customizations you guys can think of for your subjects, for your class, for your pedagogy. Show us how you're doing it, but start simple first. Start very simple. All right. Start simple, like this. First things first. Why don't you challenge yourself, okay, as something that you want to do on your own, and maybe you can come back next week. Now, remember the games that you presented. Some of these they're very exciting, but it's just that let's have a list of students who did it. Okay, first things first. Let's have a list of students who did it. You just create one file. Open one Google Sheet. We call it your particular game sheet or your activity sheet. Okay, I know you're doing this in groups. So you can actually work together and see how you can design one. And maybe you can work together to create the badges and plan the ranking. Okay. First thing is first, have a list of students. Okay. Maybe start with 5 or 10. All right. You can, less also no problem. Okay. 5 or 10. And then second thing is think about this. Think about a simple table, a small table. All right. Maybe you have how many ranks you want. Okay. How many ranks you want to do. It can be maybe 5 ranks or 7 ranks, 10 ranks, up to you. Okay. Up to you how you want to do. Have a lot of fun with this. Like here, I have 2 levels of ranking. You don't have to worry about 2 levels. Just 1 level will do. Yeah. So I intentionally send this template for you to try out. You can delete, things. Great. I can see something happening there. Yeah. Okay, good. Now, if you notice the false appearing, you know why? Why do you think the false appears? The false appears, the key to this, to correcting this now, is to examine here. Examine this and see what really happened here. Yeah. Well, but one of the ways to remedy this, just drag it over, or still nothing happens. Drag this up. Okay. So if you drag it up, you restore it. Okay. If something accidents happen, you can drag this up and restore it. But if it's not reflecting this, then you got to check. That's the problem there. T2. Yeah. And it's individual is Q. How is it T? Yeah. So I leave that for you to solve. Yeah. So you can solve it if you like. But what for what that has to be done. Now this is P, correct? Supposed to be Q and R. Yeah, this is fine. N. Yeah. So these are some of the finer points for it. Now, one tricky bit about this is sometimes when you insert a new column, you notice that if this is N, O, P, Q, Q appears here suddenly, and then R and S. So R, let's say if I copy this whole thing and I put it here, then what happened here? Then R. So now R appears, the reference correct, but this need to be sort of rectified. Yeah. So yeah, play around with it. You can do things like that and see what happens. Yeah. So not to worry, this can be easily fixed. So give it a shot. So as I was saying, try something simple first. Yeah. Try something simple. A very simple version, and maybe adapt what you have done there and pretend that you have 10 students who've done it. Okay. Or you can play it among yourselves, or just like 10 students, just pretend and just put some pretend scores there. Okay. And try to create a leaderboard and customize it in a way. Now it's you can customize. The names can look different. These can look different. You can change fonts. That's not a problem. It won't affect anything. So you have two tabs. You have either each student has a tab. You can give that a try, or you can have a score tab that that can have a few students here. Yeah, and that's a leaderboard. So just try to get started with these two simple one first, and then build up on it. Now, there are lots of resources in terms of, you can even see how your badge changes when your badge, like the same place. That's basically what's happening. But I mean, you can have some columns, half scores, badge, and things like that. There's so many different versions of self-updating leaderboards that you can find from the same resource, which I gave you, that website. You can go to teachingabovethetest.com.org, I think. Then have a read. There's a whole list of guidelines and so many different approaches, and quite a number of experimentation. See what works for you. Yeah. So why don't you come back next week and let's have a look at this. Then we move on to something more interesting. Now from here, I was about to tell you something. From here, right? Once you have this leaderboard, the next step is you publish. So we will do that next week. Now, publishing will require you, how many of you are very used to Google site, or you all have your own blogs or something? No? Okay. I'll show you how to publish it. It's tremendously super duper easy. Okay. For example, this, you know how long it took for me to create this? Give me a wild guess. Let's give the worst guess. Tell me how long it took for me to create this. Wild guess. Huh?
10 minutes.
No lah. I'm not there. No lah. Half an hour actually. Half an hour, 30 minutes. Took me 30 minutes, but okay, let me be very honest, not 30 minutes. It took me about 45 minutes because I spent 15 minutes. Well, basically, I already have something existing here. I already have this box created before, this image, but everything else took about 15 minutes to do this in Canva. You all know Canva, right? Canva is pretty cool for really quick work, and just use Canva, create a banner, just add some little tiny little animated GIF there. Let's create one. Let's plonk it in there. I already have existing badges. I plonk it in there, and then it's a matter of linking it. See, I linked it to my folders in Google Drive. Yeah. You click on this, you can see the links. Yeah. So, and if you go to pages, it's just a matter of adding different pages. I just have to add day 1, day 2, day 3. Yeah. This is my the other course I did. Yeah. So if you see the publish site, you can see the other course I did. Yeah. And yeah, all this didn't take very long. I did pretty much the virtual board game thing. All that I did about in about a day, and it took a day because I had to link from the actual game as well. So here I actually did this a lot faster. But here, my advice to use this: first, start simple. Do a simple one. Start simple and enjoy creating the badges first. Just have fun creating the badges. Experiment. Do whatever shape you want. It doesn't have to be round. It doesn't have to be hexagonal. It can be whatever. So step 1, have a list of students, have some scores. Even if you written it down, that's fine. Step 2, create the badges. Create a table, a ranking table, like I showed you. That looks kind of like this. Yeah, a simple one. Yeah, a simple one. All right. If you're familiar with, you can best to do this in Google Sheet, not in Excel. All right. Best to do this in Google Sheet. In Excel, leave this part. If you're doing it in Excel, but you can leave this part blank. And also for information, you can also do this in Microsoft Word. Yeah. And if you do it in Microsoft Word, for example, you can add those badge. Now, where's that Word file? Okay, let me just stop sharing. Okay, now I have this badge in Microsoft Word, right? Okay, wait, let me share again. Sorry. Now, okay, now I have this in Microsoft Word. Now, let me save this file. Let me save this document as stop. Let's say tryout doc. Okay. Now I'm just going to, I saved it. Now I can actually close it if I want to. I'll just close it. Right. So now I'm going to share my screen again to my browser. So now I'm just going to go back to my Google Drive. Now I'm going to your folder. Okay, so now I'm just going to going to drag that Microsoft Word folder into there, or just upload it. So I'm just going to upload it. Sorry for the clutter. I know you're seeing a lot of my files here. I have a lot of clutter here. Where did I save it? Try out T. There you go. So I'm just going to open it. So when you upload Microsoft Word in there, you can open it as Google Doc. Okay, now let's open Google Doc. So it doesn't have to be Google Sheets if you want to create a table of your badges. Yeah. So for example, you can actually create a table here. Yeah. And with your badges there, it works the same, except that the difference is in Google Sheets, your badges will be much more neat inside the cell. So it's easy to control the size and everything. In Google Doc, it's a bit tricky. Yeah. So I'm just showing you anyway. So then from here, file, publish to web as well. So publish to web. You can publish to web Google Doc as well. So Control C, then Control V. There you go. It's published to web. Then you can right click on this, copy image address. Okay. You can copy image address then it works the same. So you can copy image address for customizing the formula. Remember, the image address is only for customizing the formula, but make sure you shorten the image address using something like bit.ly. Yeah, but so that is for making the table. All right. So if you publish to web, the only reason why you use Google Doc to publish the table to web is for copying the image address. Otherwise, just for information, you can stick to Google Sheet, which looks a lot more neat, and you can actually add it as one of the tabs here for information. Yeah, for your reference as well. Yeah. And let's say if you don't want anyone else to see it, you just, this little tiny arrow here, you select this tiny arrow here, you can press hide sheet. So you press hide sheet, it will hide. Then if you want to unhide it, go to view, hidden sheets, then look at the ones that that you hid, and select that, it'll appear back again. Yeah, so experiment. Yeah, now I will show you how to create the Google site very, very simple way. Maybe we can focus on that. What time is it? Yeah, we can focus on that next week. Yeah, for now, your next task is try to do a simple one. Yeah, anyone has any other questions? So Google site is really great. You could, if you have your own website for your class, your students can always access it. And know what's the thrilling thing about it? When you publish your leaderboard, your self-updating leaderboard, they can check it any time of the day, any time of the week. And you can even input your scores even from your phone, from a mobile phone. I mean, inputting scores in Google Sheet from mobile devices is slightly tricky because you've got to be very careful. Yeah, it's not, but there are ways that you can use the sheets as like an app. Yeah, which we can explore that later on as well. So this is also giving you opportunities to see your leaderboard like some kind of like a prototype or something. Yeah, like a prototype, kind of like how you can demonstrate your thoughts, demonstrate your ideas. And sometimes it helps you to, kind of like make some connections, to understand connections, and links and things like that. So yeah, it will be a bit challenging at first, but the point is this, I mean, the point of our sessions is we're stressing on Google apps. There are other applications, and I'm going to show you as well. I'm going to show you how another alternative like Classcraft, which you don't have to do any calculation, whatever. But Classcraft, I've used it for 3 years. And I've made videos of Classcraft, which I will also share. And it's just amazing how youthful it is. It just brings you back to your younger days. But not just that, it really motivates students. Colors, characters, visuals really motivate students, and especially when they're younger students. Obviously they would love to look at different avatars, colorful badges. So be creative about that. Now, one way to search, one of the ways to search for this, now if you go to Canva, right now, Canva is very good. You can find transparent images very easily. Let's say if I were to create a blank document, and if I wanted to get images, let's say you want something transparent. No. Is it photos? Yeah, well, photos are basically all royalty-free images. but you can still search for elements. But elements are probably some of those things that are already in there. Yeah, you could. There's so many other links here that you could search from, but let's say I wanted game rank badge. I'm just typing at random. Wow, you know, if I press that, if I search for this, all sorts of game ranking badge appears. But I'm not sure whether they're transparent though. But I think they are, because for example, like this one here, it's an animated badge. Now, you could put animated badge. I'm not sure if that works. Gotta try it. But you can give it a try, but it doesn't have to be. The problem with animated elements might increase loading time. So that's the tricky bit. Just choose transparent. Look, this looks like a nice ranking transparent one. So let's say if I were to, yeah, let's say if I wanted to do this, I'd add this here, and then I'm happy with this. Or you can just, but this is an A4 sheet, yeah. I'm supposed to have a much smaller thing, but just for example's sake, putting this here, then I'm just going to add some text. Let's say make it a little smaller. How do you spell sergeant? Is this correct? Yeah. Let's say Noble Sergeant.
Yes, please.
Yeah, maybe it's called Noble Sergeant or something like that. And maybe then the next thing you want to do is, if you think you're happy with this, maybe you want to add a little star, a little tiny element, but don't overdo it. Yeah. Then download it. When you're downloading time, make sure you select file PNG, again, PNG, high quality image, and make sure you select transparent background. PNG, transparent background. Okay. Now this is an example. It should be smaller, but I'm just example. So I just downloading this. Right. So now I'm just going to save this. Let's just put desktop. I'm going to folders. Saved. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that into let's say you want to make a banner or something, you can use those, but if you want to bring that back into here, let's give it a try. It's pretty big, so but just for fun, insert image. Let's say image in cell. Let's try it. Noble Sergeant. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it worked, but it's not really center and it's pretty small. Yeah, I guess the yellow is not a good choice. So I guess you just have to center it. Yeah, I guess center it a little bit. Then, yeah, I'm just gonna bring that, make it a little bigger. There you go. So you got Noble Sergeant. But you see, the problem with this is because it's an A4 size and the entire icon or the badge, it had too much white space around it. Maybe it needs to be cropped before you bring it in. And cropping this is very easy. You can even crop it in Microsoft Paint, you know, just go to Paint, you know, just bring the file in here, open, go to desktop, Noble Sergeant. Yeah, and zoom out. Then go to file. See, I'm see. You notice? Do you notice what I'm doing? I'm not even. I'm just going to select this. I'm not even using anything that requires you to actually purchase. They're all free to use. So then press cropped. So you can use Paint to crop it and resave it again as a PNG and so on. So yeah, I'm going to stop here. So now you have two possible ways to create badges. You can use Canva to create badges. You can use and you can use Microsoft Word, use the existing template. I will copy back again. Sorry for that little thing. I'm not sure why they don't show, but I will copy it again after this back into that folder so you can mess around with it. Yeah. Simple one. Start simple like this. Yeah. Yeah, so right after this, I'll put this video up immediately. I won't delay. So then maybe you could look back at how I'm showing you to do that for this simple example. But also do experiment with those templates that I've provided for you. Anyone have any questions? So come back next week. Yeah.
Sorry, about the batch formula. So I do get the range that you put there. So it depends on which marks it falls, which range it falls into the marks, and then you get different badges. But the very first one, so if you can click on the badge, the first badge, John's badge.
This one is it?
Yes, so right at the beginning, you have the, yours is M2 equals to what, 10,000? I was just wondering, how do we determine the figure for that? I mean, I get the others because that's the range that your marks will fall in and you get the different badges. But what about the very first one?
Okay, you're asking, are you referring to why 1,000, why 10,000?
Yeah, why 10,000 or why 30 in your easier example?
Actually, because I wanted to you see how I did this was, okay, like for example, okay, when I go to the, okay, this one I'll explain later, right? But I can show you now first. This one here, the exercise, for example, the exercises or the assignment, this is assignment 1. I've got to change this. Now, assignment 1 is over 10%. So when he gets 7 over 10, then 7, it's converted to over 10,000 over here. So 7 is 7,000. So total is 7,000. So I just choose 10,000 because for the fun of it, I just wanted it to look like 10,000, like something that's around the range of thousands. That's it. Yeah, it's like if it's 1 is 1, right? 1 over 1 is 1. 10,000 is like 10,000 over 10,000. So that's what I just thought. So it can be, so you can for example, if you make it your own, you can decide what your range will be. It's really up to you. And it's just the difference is this. What's the similarity is this. The similarity is here you have you're just customizing this bit over here. So the range over here doesn't have to be in the thousands. It can be any kind of range that you think is suitable. And the best reference for this range is over here. So
sorry, sir. So basically the 10,000 for the M2 is the top score you can get, right? I think that's what Miss Stephanie is asking. So M2 is the top score.
It was the base score or the highest score?
The highest
score, right?
The highest
score, yeah.
So basically to get M2 score, you have to be from 9,800.
Yeah,
one, is it?
Yeah.
And to 10,000. I think that's what the idea, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, so to add on to that as well, so sorry, I think I sort of got confused with why you're using the image linking. Wouldn't the batch be on the file already, and then you link it to the batch to the cell image that's already there instead of having to link a URL?
It doesn't work like that. It requires a URL. That's the catch.
This is the front end to Google Sites, right? Is that only because it's a front end to Google Sites that you need to link it to the URL?
It'll be best if it's linked to a URL so that it's easier for the image address to be read rather than a file.
Okay.
So
and maybe one more, because you use indirect, right, for the score sheet sample. How is that different from like VLOOKUP? Because I'm not familiar with indirect.
VLOOKUP might work, but I think what indirect does is it covers the whole range here.
Okay.
VLOOKUP is, I think, per individual cell.
Okay.
Yeah, but in VLOOKUP also indirect refers to one particular reference here and to one reference in the other input sheet. But for example, the one for say N27, then N27 over here. But VLOOKUP, you need a range. You need like a rubric, like a grade. VLOOKUP is best used for grades. For example, like a grade lookup. I'm not sure if I have one here. I have another sheet that I have that, which I will show you. Can show you next week.
But wouldn't that be the initial? So wouldn't grading be the initial part before we do this actually? So that this would take the grades from basically the VLOOKUP formula, right?
Yeah, but we can do that later. So you can add the grades later. Yeah, because grade, if VLOOKUP, you will need a reference point from maybe I think the total will have to be the main reference point, and then in terms of the measurement for the total have to be associated to the grade, and that has to be done in a separate tab.
Yeah.
So then they have to refer to that. Yeah. So you need two table. It refers to two columns. Yeah. Then we can I can show you the formula later on. I can show you the sheet if you want. I can also give you the template.
Okay, I mean in your due time, so if you're showing it later, I guess.
Yes, definitely, because it's hard to cover everything in one place. But I just don't want to stress you all out too much on. Yeah, I know this is a lot. It's a lot to think about. But like I said, don't get intimidated by the template. The template is just something for you to try out. Yeah, but I think what's most easier to do is something like this. So try something like this first and try to create some badges. Yeah, try to create some badges on your own and try to have a simple range. Start with 1 to, if you want over 100, also no problem. 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Oh no, 1 to 10, 11 to 20, then 21 to 30, then 31 to 40, then 41 to 50, something like that. So you can customize that range into the formula up here. Yeah. So yeah, so just experiment with that one thing first and see how it goes for you, and then come back to me and see what. But make sure you associate it with the theme of your games, because the games that you use back the ones that you were presenting and pretend that you have students have done it and what happened after that. So if you're clear, then I think we are good to go. Anyone have any other questions? If you need, I will post this video right after this. Yeah. Last time I couldn't do it for some reason. For some days, when I post something on YouTube, it was waiting. It's still at 0%. Now it's fine already. So sometimes I encountered that thing. So it kind of like, then I go on to do something else. Then yeah, so sorry for all that. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions? So more things. I'll show you more things the coming classes.
Dr. Charles, I have a question.
Yes, Sonia.
Dr. Charles, do we have to do this as our homework?
No, it's not. It's not compulsory. uh, it's not. It's. I would say I'm encouraging you to try out. It's not a compulsory homework, and Nigel is not going to check. I'm not going to send a. You know why I'm doing that score thing for you. You know why? Because it's just for me. Really, it's just for me. It's just for the fun of it. I just want to, you know, it's just me and my itchy little fingers. It's just one of those things. But I really like this because for me, it feels a lot better for me to see something there rather than, it makes me feel a lot better to see everybody in one place and everybody has something there on the table. I guess because I have such large classes, and this self-updating leaderboard, when I came across Miss Garcia's website, and when I read all these things, her gamified leaderboards was so inspiring, and it just clicked. And I spent the whole week, hours and hours, trying to understand how these things work. And it solved so much because they couldn't give me a co-lecturer. I had to handle like almost 200 students because the subject I was teaching was being adapted to electives. Electives were taken for other students from other courses. I have so many students. How am I going to handle the marking? So this was one of the solutions that I came up with. So I had to use a self-updating label. I don't have to bother doing anything else. And all I need to do is open my iPad. I talk to them. I look at their work. I just input a score then and there. And at the end of the semester, you just make sure that you do it then and there. But so at the end of the semester, what happens is most of the inputs are done. So it's just matter of cleaning it up, rounding up figures, and there will be minor adjustments, and that's basically it. So then I realized that, okay, something is happening right here. It may not be the perfect solution, but then I thought it worked for a large class like this. And I was always hoping to have, ideally, when I was teaching a smaller class, I never really had, you see in the template, I never really had, for example, in the score sheet, the tabs were not numbers. I had smaller group of students before, a long time ago, like 25 up the most, or 20. Then I can actually put names on their tabs. And I didn't have to have complicated formulas to link them and everything. But it's only when I had such huge classes, then I had to link them. Like, for example, if student number 84, then I had to go here. Instead of scrolling through this, I just link them, hyperlink them, then I go straight to their sheet, things like that. Made it a lot easier. And that's the reason why I stuck to Google Sheet, because it made organizing data more efficient. And lots of observations can be done too. You can observe patterns eventually. That is much later. But the important thing is, I wanted something that would work, convenience, something that will work hand in hand with my convenience of marking, workload management, and things like that. So you need to think about that for yourselves. So even if you have a very small class, but you know that you need to have close monitoring, can this be something that you can use to monitor, or is this something specific you can monitor just by using badges? There are a lot of things you can think about when it's visually seen. Yeah. So anyone else?
Thanks, sorry, just to clarify another thing on the leaderboard.
Sure, Melvin.
You mentioned you had to do the copy and pasting of the web link individually. Yeah. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Could we not put the web link in the cell and then tie it to that cell instead as well? I don't know.
Interesting. Maybe it could.
So at any time of point you want to refer to that batch, for example, you just tie it to that cell.
Yeah. What's that web link? Let me just try a web link. I think this one has a web link here. I think maybe you could. I can't remember. I kind of like crossed my mind before, but it was ages ago. If I were to equals, yeah, maybe you could, but no, it doesn't. Unless, can you? Not sure. I don't know if it does that.
All right, I was just wondering if you had gone through it before. I'll look into it. Maybe.
Oh, right. Sorry. I forgot the word image.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me just. Yeah, I think it depends on the command that you use. Yeah, you can. You can immediately put it there. Yeah. You can immediately put it there. That's not a problem. But it's just the what goes with it. That's the catch. For example, if you want to put that image, why that image and referring to what range? So if and this range, comma, image is this. So basically the phrase is if this
If range image cell, right? Basically.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
Yes, this one. And make sure you connect it with a comma. Comma space if. And I think the space between the if and bracket is, I think it's fine. So yeah, that's the one. So you can continue putting in as long as you have those ranges those range listed. So that will be your reference for it. So it's you can customize this. So this was added on actually. I did add 2 or 3 here because it used to be a bit less.
More ranges basically, right?
Yeah, you can add
okay.
more range. Yeah. Did I help you there?
Yeah, that was something I was wondering.
Okay.
I was just thinking of streamlining the effort to do the leaderboard, I think.
Excellent. Right, cool. So yeah, so it is not a homework. So if you do, if you manage to try something out, do come back next week and do share. Okay, do share and and present. No compulsion, not compulsory. Yeah, but I encourage you to try. But I know you guys are very busy. I know you have your own workload, so do have don't forget to have your own me time. All right. Yeah. So yeah, have your own me time and have your chill time. So that's it. I think that's all for today. If there's no question, everyone okay? Everyone clear? Yeah. So feel free to WhatsApp me. I think I've sent you I've in the email. I think I sent you my WhatsApp number. So if you want, I can send. Let me just quickly send you the. Oops, sorry. Oops, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? No, I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. Okay, so this add invite group file link, right? Yeah, copy this. Yeah, they didn't have this before, right? So I think only Telegram had it. So I'm just going to put it in the chat. Oops. Chat. Yeah. So join that group. And if you have any questions, you can always WhatsApp me. Yeah, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Nice to see all of you, and do take care and all the best. I know there's some exams coming. All the best in your preparations.
Dr. Charles,
Yes.
please do not forget to give the recording for today's lesson, yeah?
Yes, I will right after this session, I will upload it to the YouTube and I will upload. I will paste it in the website. I'll upload it to the website. Yeah, you all can access your website, right? So then it should be fine. Okay. Oh, that's a cute dog, Juju. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Bye,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.